Hey, welcome back to our Microsoft Word Catalog series. If you missed our main overview video, there's a link in the description. Today, we are diving deep into page layouts, and coming up next in video number 2, I will show you how to master tables and data organization. This is where your catalog really starts to come together with professional-looking product grids and organized information that your readers will love. And trust me, once you get this part right, everything else just clicks. No more awkward spacing. No more images that jump around like they've got a mind of their own. Just smooth, clean, professional layouts that make your catalog look like it was made in InDesign. But spoiler, it is still good old Microsoft Word. So if you ever wanted your catalog to look sharp enough to impress a client, or even just your overly detail-oriented coworker. Stick around, because we are setting the stage for design magic today. Document setup and page orientation. Alright, let us get started. Before you can design something that looks clean, professional, and actually enjoyable to scroll through, you've got to nail this setup. Think of this like laying down the foundation before building a house. You cannot decorate the living room if the walls aren't even. So let us open Microsoft Word. Start with a blank document, no templates, no leftovers from that essay you wrote last month. Just a clean, white canvas. If Word automatically loads something random, close it. We are starting fresh. Once you've got the new document open, head straight to the Page Layout tab at the top. This is your command center. It controls everything about how your document looks and behaves. Size, margins, columns, spacing, and orientation. It might not sound exciting right now, but getting this part right keeps your catalog from turning into a cluttered mess later. The first thing you will want to do is set your paper size. This might seem like a tiny step, but it is one of those details that quietly decides whether your catalog looks crisp and professional or ends up looking like it was printed at 80%. So click on Size under the Page Layout tab, and you'll see a few familiar options: letter, A4, legal, and a couple more that you'll probably never touch. If you're in the US, stick with letter 8.5 by 11 inches. That is the standard size for most printers and office documents. If you're anywhere else in the world, say the UK, Asia, or Europe, your go-to will be A4 8.27 by 11.69 inches. Now, why does this matter so much? Because choosing the right size from the start saves you from a whole list of future headaches. Weird cropping, off-center text, or that tragic moment when your catalog's beautiful photo layout gets awkwardly chopped off at the edge. You don't want your perfectly designed page to look like it was printed on the wrong Zoom meeting. Once you have locked in your page size, let us move on to orientation. Basically, whether your page sits vertically or horizontally, click Orientation, and you'll see two options: Portrait and Landscape. Portrait orientation is your classic setup: tall, narrow, and super practical. It is perfect for text-heavy documents like service directories, business listings, or anything where people are mostly reading rather than looking at images. It is easy on the eyes, efficient to print, and it is perfectly into binders or folders. You have seen it 1,000 times. Reports, resumes, even restaurants' menus is the go-to for anything structured and text-driven. Landscape orientation, on the other hand, flips things sideways, and suddenly your document breaks. The wider format gives you more real estate to work with, which is perfect if your catalog includes large product photos, side-by-side comparisons, or even wide tables with multiple columns. It is a favorite among designers because it naturally feels more modern and visually open. Think of it as the presentation mode of Word. It instantly makes your layout feel more dynamic and less boxy. Here's a simple rule of thumb. If your content is mostly text, stick with portrait. If you've got lots of images or detailed tables, go landscape. It isn't about what looks cooler. It is about what supports your content. Once you have set your orientation, double check your view mode. Down in the bottom right corner, click Print Layout View so you are seeing your document exactly how it will appear when printed or exported. Before moving on, save your document. Go to File, Save As, choose your folder, and name it clearly. Something like catalog underscore setup underscore 2025 dot docx. Don't leave it as document 1. You'll thank yourself later when you have multiple drafts. Good. That is your base. Now it is time to fine tune your margins so everything sits beautifully on the page. Margin settings for a professional look. Margins, one of those things most people ignore, but they quietly make or break a document. If your margins are too small, everything looks cramped. Too wide, and your layout feels empty. To fix them, head over to Page Layout, Margins, Custom Margins. Once you click that, a small window will pop up showing boxes for top, bottom, left, and right. These numbers control how much white space sits around the edges of your page, kind of like the invisible picture frame that holds your entire catalog together. Adjusting these margins might not sound exciting, but it is what gives your layout breathing room and balance. Too tight, and everything feels cramped. Too wide, and your content looks lost in space. Finding that sweet spot makes your catalog look clean, intentional, and easy on the eyes. Exactly what you want before adding all the visuals and product details. Think of margins as breathing room for your content. Too tight, and everything feels squished and uncomfortable. Too wide, and your page starts to look like it is on a text diet. The goal is to find that sweet spot where your layout looks balanced, readable, and professional. If you are printing the catalog, keep at least 0.75 inches on all sides. Printers can be picky and may trim anything too close to the edge. You don't want your logo sliced in half. For digital-only PDFs, you can safely reduce to zero point 0.5 inches for a modern, tighter design that maximizes screen space. Here is a quick design trick. If your catalog includes images or tables that stretch across the page, slightly wider outside margins, like 1 inch, can make everything feel balanced. It gives the eyes a comfortable resting area and keeps the document from looking too busy. If you're working on a multi-page catalog with facing pages, like a book layout, check the box for mirror margins. That option makes the inside margins slightly wider for binding or folding later. It is a small detail, but it screams, I know what I am doing. While you are still in page setup, glance at the glider setting. That is the extra space added for binding. Set it to about 0.25 inches if you plan to staple or bind your catalog. Now hit OK, and Word will adjust everything automatically. At this stage, zoom out a little and take a look at your page. You will notice how the text area feels cleaner, more intentional. The white space on the edges helps guide the reader's eyes and gives your design that professional print-ready look. If you're unsure, print a quick test page. Nothing reveals spacing problems faster than holding a real piece of paper in your hands. Margins might sound like a tiny detail, but they create the invisible frame that makes your work look polished. Think of them as the mat around a frame photo. You don't notice it when it is perfect, but you definitely do when it is off. Now that our page size, orientation, and margins are in sync, let us move to something that instantly upgrades your layout. Columns. Column layouts. Alright, here is where things start to look like an actual catalog. Columns give structure to your content and make everything feel magazine ready. Go back to the Page Layout tab and click Columns. You will see a few preset options, 1, 2, or 3 columns. This is where your catalog starts to take shape visually, kind of like deciding whether you want a cozy, minimal layout or that full-on magazine vibe. 2 columns are a classic choice for a clean, directory-style layout. It is simple, easy to read, and gives you plenty of space to include both text and visuals. You can list product details on one side and place matching images right beside them. It looks neat, balanced, and professional without feeling cluttered. 3 columns, on the other hand, instantly gives your catalog that sleek, magazine feel. Compact, stylish, and full of energy. It is perfect for pages where you want to showcase multiple products at once or create organized grids. Each column feels like its own little spotlight, letting you fit more content in while still keeping it visually appealing. Now, if you click more columns, you can fine tune things. Adjust the width and spacing between columns until it feels right. I usually add a little breathing room, around zero point 0.3 to zero point 0.5 inches, so the content doesn't look jammed together. If you're wondering which layout to use, think about how people will read your catalog. For product descriptions or service lists, two columns are more comfortable. For short snippets or product highlights, three columns add rhythm and visual variety. Here's a bonus move. You do not have to stick to one column style throughout. You can mix things up using section breaks, which we will cover in the next part, that allows, say, a full width image on one page and three columns of content on the next, all within the same document. But before we jump there, let us talk creativity for a second. You are not limited to columns alone. You can use tables, shapes, or even text boxes to mimic columns' effects while keeping full control over spacing and alignment. The key is consistency. Align everything, use equal padding, and don't overload your design. Quick visual tip: turn on grid lines under view. Grid lines. Think of them like training wheels for your layout. They help you see those invisible boundaries and keep everything perfectly lined up. It is especially helpful when you are balancing text, images, and tables on the same page. You will instantly spot if something's slightly off center or drifting too close to the margin. Because honestly, nothing ruins a professional looking catalog faster than an even text or a photo that is just barely misaligned. Personally, I like to keep things flexible. I often skip columns altogether when I want to go a bit freestyle with my layout, kind of like designing a mini magazine spread. Instead, I use text boxes to position photos, product descriptions, and titles exactly where I want them. It is like playing layout Tetris, but way more satisfying. You get full creative control. You can tilt an image slightly, move a heading just a little to the left, or add a highlight box wherever it feels right. Sure, it takes a bit more time, but the result looks unique and custom made instead of cookie cutter. Remember, your catalog should reflect your own style. Don't feel trapped by templates. The goal is to present your content clearly while keeping it visually interesting. Now let's learn how to use section breaks to control different parts of your document without chaos. Think of them as invisible dividers that let you switch up layouts, headers, or footers without wrecking the rest of your pages. It is like giving each section of your catalog its own personality, but still keeping everyone playing nicely together. Once you get the hang of section breaks, you will wonder how you ever built long documents without them. Using section breaks effectively. Section breaks are the secret weapon of a well-organized catalog. They let you change layouts, headers, or column styles mid-document without messing up the rest. Here's how it works. Place your cursor right where you want the new section to begin, maybe before a new product category or when you are switching from a text-heavy page to something more visual. Then go to Layout, Breaks, and under the section breaks category, choose Next Page. Boom! You have just created an independent section of your document. Think of it like splitting your catalog into neat little chapters that play by their own rules. Each section can have its own layout, margins, headers, or even orientation without messing up the rest of your pages. It is like giving every part of your catalog its own personality while keeping the whole thing perfectly organized. Why is this so useful? Because each section can have its own settings. You can have one section with a single column for a full page photo and the next section with three columns for detailed product listings. You can also use section breaks to change orientation halfway through. Maybe your intro pages look great in portrait, but your product spreads shines in landscape. Section breaks make that possible. Here's a pro tip. After inserting a section break, double-click the header or footer area and notice that it says same as previous. If you want different headers or footers for each section, like unique titles or logos, turn that off by clicking Link to Previous to deactivate it. Another clever use: alternating page numbers. Let us say your intro pages, like the cover or table of contents, shouldn't have numbers. No problem. Just insert a section break right after those pages. Then on the next page, where your actual content starts, go to Insert, Page Number, Format Page Numbers, and select Start at 1. Boom! Your numbering begins fresh from the point onward. It's one of the small layout details that most people overlook, but it makes a big difference in how professional your catalog feels. Readers won't see random page tree labels on your cover or intro, and your catalog instantly looks cleaner, more intentional, and properly structured, like something that came straight from a design studio. To keep everything running smoothly, turn on Show or Hide on the Home tab. This little button is your secret weapon. It reveals all those hidden formatting marks that Word usually keeps tucked away. You'll suddenly see symbols for spaces, paragraph breaks, and most importantly, your section breaks. It is kind of like turning on night vision in Word. One click, and boom, you can spot all the invisible layout gremlins that might be messing with your spacing or causing weird page jumps. It is not the prettiest view, but it is insanely useful when your document starts acting weird. Once you're done fixing things, just click the button again to turn off the clutter. Here's a small warning though. Don't overuse them. Too many section breaks can get confusing, especially if you edit the layout later. Use them strategically. One for a new orientation, another for different headers or column layouts, and that is usually enough. At this point, you have mastered the essentials of structure. You can switch layouts, manage headers independently, and control spacing like a pro. So now, let us take it to the next level. Master pages or templates to make future projects faster and more consistent. Creating master pages and templates. Alright, you've set up your document beautifully. Margins, columns, sections, all polished. But what if you want to reuse this layout later or build multiple catalogs with the same design? That is where master pages or templates come in. In Word, you can turn your current setup into a reusable template that saves your design, styles, and structure. Here's how to do it. First, finish setting up everything you want consistent: logos, headers, footers, fonts, and spacing. Then go to File, Save As, and under Save As type, select Word Template .x. Name it something like catalog underscore template underscore 2025 .x and save it in your templates folder. Now, every time you need to create a new catalog, open the template instead of starting from scratch. It will load your exact settings instantly. Same margins, same fonts, same structure. You just replace the content. If you're feeling fancy, you can also create a master first page. That could include your brand banner, a placeholder image, or a tagline box. You can lock the design by using the header or footer areas or inserting shapes behind text. Want to go farther? Try adding custom styles. It is one of Word's most underrated features. Go to Home tab, right-click a text style like Heading 1 or Normal, and click Modify. From there, you can tweak the font, color, and spacing to perfectly match your catalog's theme. The best part, every time you apply that style, Word automatically keeps everything consistent. No more guessing which font size you used 3 pages ago. It is like having your own built-in brand guide that keeps everything page polished, uniform, and totally on brand. Another trick, use content controls found under the Developer tab. They let you create fill-in fields like product name or price that can be quickly updated later. It is perfect for recurring catalogs where only the content changes. Finally, if you're building something for a team, share your template on a cloud drive. Everyone can create their own versions without messing with the original format. Once your master page or template is set, do a final test. Add a few dummy entries, maybe a fake product photo, a description, and a price. Make sure everything aligns, margins hold up, and textiles look clean. When it looks perfect, hit save. Take a deep breath and smile. You'll just built a professional grade foundation that will save you hours on future projects. And there you have it, the foundation of a truly professional catalog. It might not be the flashiest part of the process, but trust me, this is where the magic begins. Once your pages are set up right, everything else just flows better. Your designs will look cleaner, your images will behave finally, and editing later on won't feel like a nightmare. You have done the heavy lifting, the kind of setup most people skip and regret later. So give yourself a pat on the back. Maybe grab a quick coffee refill because great work. You now know how to set up professional page layout set from the backbone of any great catalog. Your margins are perfect, your columns are aligned, and your templates are ready to go. But now comes the fun part, organizing your actual content. In our next video, mastering tables and data organization in Word catalogs, I will show you how to create those beautiful product reads, organize your information in tables, and make everything looks consistently professional. Don't forget to like this video if it helped you, and click the card above or check the description for video 2.